Hey photographer, it's Michelle. In today's video, I'm talking about how I wrap up my photography business at the end of the year so that I am ready to go for the next year. I know you start feeling burned out by the time of the year, and sometimes it doesn't feel that important, and this might not be the most fun topic to talk about. It's probably not the most researched, but if you are watching this video, then I know you're really serious about your photography business because it's the numbers, it's the nitty-gritty. This is how you actually move the needle in your business and understand what the heck you are doing in your business and how you can make it better or how you can double down on the things that are working. So before we dive into the video, if you haven't gotten it already, I have 5 different ideas of how to quickly make $500 to $1,000 in your photography business. So if you're looking for ways to kind of just get some cash injection, some cash flow into your business, then you can grab that down in the description box below. But let's get into this video. So I think it's really important to take a step back at the end of the year for your photography business, whether you do this for your business full-time, part-time, or you're just even a hobbyist, is looking at things that worked well and celebrating those wins, especially as entrepreneurs. If you're with yourself, like if you work from home and you're by yourself most of the time, it's hard because nobody's out there cheering for you. They're not throwing a Christmas party for you at the end of the year. They're not acknowledging your accomplishments. You're kind of the only one that gets to do that, and it's so easy for us to keep looking at the things that didn't work well or things you want to do next year better, and you want to keep doing better and better. But it's really important for you to pause and celebrate your wins as a photographer and as an entrepreneur, because that's how you keep yourself going. And it is important for you because I guarantee you had at least one win this last year. Even if it's learning a lesson, that's a win for you, and I want you to take time to celebrate that. So the way I kind of wrap up the end of my photography business is in 3 different phases. So 1, the review phase, 2, the cleanup phase, and 3, the goal setting phase. So the review phase. So this is where I go over the numbers. So this is the most important data for me personally, because this is where I know what my profit actually is and what I'm doing, where the majority of my profit is coming from. And so what I like to do is I definitely go over all my expenses first. I break them down by the month and then by the year. And I'm doing this throughout the year, so I'm not having to do this all at once, but I make sure to add up each month, and then I add up the end of the year, and I do the same thing for my sales. So every month I add up how much I brought in, and then of course at the end. And I also just do an overview of, I take my sales, all the gross sales that came in, and then the cost of goods, all the expenses, and I obviously subtract that, and then I see what my profit is. And that helps me gauge year after year kind of where I'm at in general, if I'm growing, if I'm steadying, or if there's a decline, and I need to look at that. So that's kind of the big picture for me and how I'm doing. And then other numbers I like to look at is I actually like to look at how many inquiries came in throughout the year, and I count any inquiry as someone asking about my services. So, how much do you charge? All those questions, those are all inquiries for me. And I can find this easily through my CRM, which is HONEYBOOK. So I'm able to look at how many people actually came in and asked about about my photography services. And then I like to see how many actually booked. And so that gives me a really good idea of my booking rate conversion. It's really important to take a look at how well do you convert people? How well do you convert potential clients to actually booked clients? One of my favorite things I like to do at the end of the year is I like to write about my best client experience. So I think about one of the clients that I absolutely loved. The whole process was amazing. The sale was amazing. The experience, the client, everything was the best. And I kind of write why, different personality traits. How was it easy to work with them? That they really enjoyed my service photography, that they raved about me, etc. I find my shining star. And then I also do my worst client experience. I still get the client experiences that aren't my favorite, and I write about why. Why was it difficult? And that really helps me narrow down my ideal client. I know you've heard this before, the ideal client avatar, or the ideal client, right? We've heard that in every marketing thing ever, but sometimes it's really hard to nail down who that is, or it can actually be different than what you think. And by writing down the client that was the best and most fun to work with, that you got the most creative images for, etc., that can help you narrow down who you want to work with more and who your ideal client actually is. Other numbers I look at is email growth and social media growth. Email is actually more important to me than social media, but I do like to know those numbers. And they're kind of vanity metrics in some ways, but it is kind of a good indication if you're being consistent, if you're growing again, or if you're stagnant or you're declining. And the last thing I do for review is I look at my previous goals list. So I write a goals list every year, which I'll talk more about that later, but I like to go over last year's, see what I did accomplish, and then what needs to be moved on to the next year, because I don't always get all my goals done. Okay, now we are on to phase 2, which is cleanup. So before the new year, I always like to just clean up all my stuff to get ready for the next year. So meaning the first thing I do is clean up my computer files. I move everything that I don't need on my desktop anymore, like client images, etc., onto an external hard drive or another backup source. And to clear up my poor computer that's probably pretty bogged down by the end of the year. It always is running really, really slow. Reorganize all the templates, things I use a lot, all those things. And I love my desktop organizer. I will throw a picture of it up here. If you've never thought about doing something like this, where you make your desktop a wallpaper that fits with the flow of your business, it is a game changer for me for staying really organized on my computer. You can easily create your own in Canva or Photoshop and just create little boxes and label them through the process of what you prefer with your clients. And it just helps me stay organized throughout the year, and it makes it really easy for me to clean up everything at the end of the year. Then I move on to my client system management, which is HONEYBOOK. I go through all my active projects and I either move them to completed if they're done, or to the right stage they're at, or I archive them if there may be a inquiry that never responded to me or went with somebody else. And so I just like to make sure everything is up to date in there, make sure I have followed up with any potential clients or messages that I have not gotten, and just make sure I am all ready to go for the next year. And then I do a very light social media website refresh. This is not an overhaul by any means on all of them. I just like to go and change any time sensitive things. Maybe if I had a holiday special, mini promotion, like a mini session promotion, anything like that, I like to make sure I clean all that up so I'm ready for the new year. Same thing with my website. Any time sensitive thing that I was advertising, I clean that up. And any big header image that I want to change or update. So any landing page images or anything like that that I feel like I want to update with work that I enjoy a little bit more, I'll do that. But I'm not doing an overhaul by any means. It's just a slight refresh so it looks like I'm on top of everything. And then the last thing I do to clean up is actually physically clean my office. By the end of the year, it is a mess. I will show clips and be totally honest, like this is what it looks like by the end of the year. And then I will show the after to prove that I do like a clean space. It just feels really good. It makes me personally, because I like to be clean, I feel like I can relax a lot better. I feel like my headspace is clearer if my actual office space is clean. So of course I just like to start the year fresh and keep it all clean so I can actually enjoy my holiday rest before too. And then the last phase is goal setting. So for the sake of this video, I'm not going to go into this video, but if you would like to hear how I set goals for my photography business, what questions I ask, what things I look at, maybe some examples of what's on my goal list, just please comment below. I'd be happy to make a video for that. And if you guys don't want to see that, no problem. Obviously, in this goal setting phase, you're setting goals for yourself. Set it for your business, set it for your personal life. And I would actually set goals by quarters. What I do for my business, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. And then it also keeps me on track with my bookings and how I'm doing, etc. throughout the year. And I'm not just flying by the seat of my pants, because I've done that before and it didn't work very well. When I take the time to sit and do my goals, it's definitely more successful. All right, I hope that gave you some inspiration of how you can kind of wrap up, put a pretty bow on your business for the year. Enjoy the things that went well, celebrate your wins, but also look forward to what could be better next year, whether it makes your life easier or it just creates a better experience for your client, etc. I'm rooting for you guys. So comment below if you want to see that goal setting video. And if not, I would love for you just to comment a win you had this year. We all know areas in our business that we feel like we need to do better at, but I want to celebrate with you at the end of the year. So tell me one huge win you had this year in your photography business, and I want to cheer you on. And until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.